Nonsense talking, top rope walking, ultimate Xing, serious flexing, never be vague with your boy Craig, and opinion mixing from Pete to Nixon, keep doing things in an impactful way, bloody nonsense as the Brits say, talking bloody nonsense.
Yes, it's me, it's MIC Craig, aka Mr. Impact, joined as always by the one and only Peter Nixon. This is Talking Bloody Nonsense right here on the TNIW channel. It's a new week, it's a new Impact, but first things first. Nixon, how are we?
All good this end. I haven't had much time today to plan for this episode, so I'm going in totally blind. I know our headlines, I know our topics, but yeah, I've done no research, and so it should be a fun one. It'll be totally off the cuff, my end.
Yeah, I mean, only prep I've done is written out the roster and written out the results of a certain card. Let's go through what you're gonna see/hear from us tonight. The main headline this week's episode is: which world championship should main event at Bound for Glory? We're going to look at the depth of the Impact roster and where we think what division needs a little bit of improvement. And as this airs on Thursday, it's officially 4 years since Impact Wrestling were in the UK for Impact Wrestling versus the UK at MediaCon in Manchester back in 2018. So we're going to look at that card, and we're going to do a little fantasy book and see what a card from today's independent scene in the UK and today's Impact would look like. And for the final 10, we're going to do a little Impact A to Z, but we'll give more details on that in the final 10. As without any further ado, let's get straight into it with this week's main headline. It was announced last week on Impact after Masha defeated Diana Purrazzo that Masha will be facing the Knockouts World Champion Jordynne Grace at Bound for Glory. Of course, a few weeks ago, it was announced that Eddie Edwards will be taking on the Impact World Champion Josh Alexander at Bound for Glory for the Impact World Championship. So, which championship do you think should or is most likely to main event at Bound for Glory? Of course, there's the Impact World Championship, which is always main event at Bound for Glory, minus 2014 in Japan and maybe a few others here and there. But of course, there's the Knockouts World Championship, which arguably this feud is more interesting than Josh and Eddie, but obviously it hasn't started yet. So what's your take on this? Should it be the Knockouts? Should it be the Men's World Championship? What's your take on it?
Well, I think most likely it's going to be the Impact World Championship. Josh Alexander defended against Eddie Edwards. I think arguably it will be the better match. I'm very interested to see how Jordynne and Masha turns out. I think it'll be a great match. But knowing Josh and Eddie, I think this is their first ever singles match. I'm really looking forward to seeing how those two gel in a singles environment. And if the stakes are high, it's the biggest show of the year, it'll be for the world title, and I think they'll knock it out of the park. Whereas Masha is so fresh to Impact, and I would never describe her as green, because she's fantastic, but she doesn't have that big match experience, and she's newer in the eyes of the Impact fans. So I think it would make sense for Josh and Eddie to go on last. Having said that, Jordynne Grace is, we say it every week, one of the best wrestlers in the world. She is a worthy world champion, and it would be very, very cool. I think now's the perfect time for her to main event Bound for Glory, the biggest show of the year. So I could realistically see it going both ways. I'd love to see Jordynne and Masha go on last, but I think it'll be Josh and Eddie that does.
Yeah, I really do want to see Jordan and Masha main events because they're both incredible. Obviously, Josh and Eddie. Eddie is, for all intents and purposes, still Mr. Impact Wrestling. Josh Alexander, had a solid rise to the top, a very, very good rise to the top. Starting at the tag division, going to the X division, and now at the World Championship. It's incredible to see how far he's come, given that his career was done. He thought it was all over. Now he's world champion, but this World Championship run hasn't been as good as many people thought, myself included. But maybe that's on us, and we overhyped it in our heads too much. But it's been the quality of matches has been fantastic. There's no denying that the quality of matches they've smashed it. So I'm right from the fell now. But I think the matches have been too predictable. Every time we know Josh isn't going to lose. It'll be a cracking match, but Josh isn't losing. With this one, if the Knockouts for title, Masha is undefeated and looked like a badass in doing it. I mean, Deonna Purrazzo this time around her longest match in Impact.
Yeah, I mean, this was her biggest test so far. She's destroyed everyone else. Yeah. So she's still kind of unproven. And it makes that match very unpredictable. It could realistically go both ways.
Yeah, very, very easily. Jordynne is, if not the best knockout, certainly in the top 5. This reign has been great. It's only just getting started.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, Masha and Jordynne doesn't feel like it can be easily predicted because of the run Masha's been on, because of Jordynne Grace and how powerful she is. But the Josh and Eddie, don't get me wrong, the story they've been pushing so far has been great. Like, kind of will he, won't he type of thing with Josh. I'm all for that. I like the little bit of doubt in there, especially when you've got someone like Eddie Edwards and Honor No More. But is this all just a ploy and Honor No More take over? Which seems like it almost came out of nowhere. Considering less than a month ago we were talking about whether they were the worst faction in Impact history. To now, they won the tag titles last week, very nearly won the X Division Championship last week. Eddie's got the world title match. It's I don't know more. Bound for Glory could be their night, but I just don't see it happening. I would understand it if they did do that, considering a lot of online reaction to Josh's world title reign, mainly positive, but of course, like everything, there's some negative stuff in there. But that's the case with everything in wrestling now. You can't have the positive or negative, it seems. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Honor No More can do a clean sweep at Bound for Glory?
I think they could. I think it can happen if OGK retain the world tag titles. You could have PCO win the X Division Championship. I think that would be really cool. You could have Kenny King grab the DMC.
Yeah.
The only thing, obviously, Masha Slamovich is not in Honor No More, so they wouldn't get the, any of the female belts. But yeah, a male clean sweep, that would be, it could happen. I'm not sure I would book it.
No. Fair enough. I mean, it's not very often that factions do a clean sweep anyway. I mean, I can't think of many, apart from, I guess, the bloodline. But that's just 3 bouts essentially.
Yeah. The only other thing I can think of is when the DX swept the Radicals in 2000.
Yeah. Or Evolution at Bad Blood, I believe. They did a clean sweep at
it was
Bad
Armageddon, 2003.
Armageddon. Yeah. Yeah, it can happen. But whether they'll do that with, I don't know, more is obviously a different story. Impact don't really tend to do that often. I can't think of a time they have. But I mean, I think it's a lot of credit to Impact and the Knockouts as a whole that we even have this conversation that the Knockouts World Championship is. Sorry, my microphone keeps falling. I'm on a different setup. Yeah, it's that the Knockouts world title is seen on the same level as the men's in a lot of ways. And yes, again, it's because of the quality of that entire division. Pound for pound, not just the best women's division of wrestling, the best division, full stop. And yeah, they've lost a couple, but we'll get into some more detail on that in the next section. But it's like I said, it says a lot that this can be a conversation. Because in a lot of companies, it's almost like they have a women's division, it's just there. Like, send it out, they have good matches, and then it's just back in their spot. This Knockouts division, it's the Knockouts title is always just before the men's main event on almost every card. But I think this one can go above it. If, of course, it's only just started, but
yeah,
given the right booking, anything's possible.
Well, the other option, of course, is to have them open the show. Have Masha Slamovich win the championship in the opening contest. I think that would start the show off at the exact right pace.
Yeah. So I was thinking the other week, last week, in fact, shortly after it happened, of course, it's Bound for Glory. The Quarter Shot Gauntlet will be taking place. Mickie James wants to get back to that Knockouts World Championship. If they did put it later on in the card, maybe that's the direction they could go with it. But I don't know. But of course, Mickie did say she wants to fight for it. So who knows? But there's always, of course, that Quarter Shot is now an option. But all in all, yeah, I'm all for Masha and Jordynne in the main event. Eddie and Josh will have a banger of a match, and that's almost a guarantee. And even though, again, Masha and Jordynne will more than likely have a banger of a match, there is still that surprise element because of the run Masha, because of the road Jordynne Grace is on. So I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see how they build it up in the next few weeks.
Oh, definitely.
And to see where it places in the Bound for Glory card. But I'm going to make a prediction that it will be the main event.
Oh, okay.
Clip that. So that's that. Now we're going to take a look at the Impact roster as a whole, and we're going to look at who's on it, the depth of it, and what divisions we think maybe needs a little bit of work. So first of all, we'll go for the champions. Of course, the Impact World Champion Josh Alexander, the Knockouts World Champion Jordynne Grace, the Extras and Champion Speedball McBailey, the digital media champion is Brian Myers, but that could possibly change tonight as you're watching in a ladder match for that championship against Bipinda. Then the World Tag Team Champions, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, I want to know more. And the Knockouts World Tag Team Champions, Vexed, Dion Praz and Chelsea Green. So that's the champions. Now, do you want me to read out the entire roster, or shall we just pick and choose?
Nah.
I've got it all written down anyway. So we'll go to the we'll go in reverse of what I just read it, and we'll look at the Knockouts World Tag Team Championships. I think that area is most improvement. There's only 2-3 legit teams who can have a match for those titles. You've got Ragnarok / Decay, and Savannah and Tasha, but I think Tasha is more likely to be facing Kelly Kelly at Bound for Glory.
Yeah.
So that's not really. I think that may be it, and that's not great. I don't think there's anyone else, is there?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: the Knockouts division, the Knockouts World Championship division, I don't think that needs any work. I think the roster is fantastic, loads of depth. Probably the deepest division. You say it every week, best division in wrestling. So I guess you could throw some teams together out of that division, but with tag team championships, you need established teams that are together and are not singles wrestlers. They are tag teams. But I don't know if there's that many on the circuit. I can't think of many at all.
No.
Charlie Morgan and Jetta, the Royal Aces. Bring them in.
Please, book it.
Yeah.
That may be one for the next section. But no, it's the tag team Knockouts tag team division. It needs so much work, and that's kind of sad given the pomp we came back to. Now, Vexed are a fantastic team. It's probably the most legit team since the influence and inspiration. So there's 3 great teams right there, but their reigns were very short. A lot of these reigns are very short.
Yeah, but we have had teams that have gone their separate ways, like the Inspiration, Fire and Flavor. The influence are no longer there. So we have had teams. We have had a division over the last year, a year and a half now. It does need work, but I wouldn't prioritize that division over any of the other divisions, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, it's. But on the other hand of that, we can't let this division go the same way as the division before, and the WWE tag team women's tag team division, where they just get 2 random members of the roster, put them together as a team, and hope for the best.
Yeah.
It took, and those titles, the WWE women's tag team titles, seemed like they were made for the Iconics inspiration at the time, Iconics at the time. It took a while to put the titles on them. Bailey and Sasha for a bit, which was kind of like it worked because they were kind of a team. Then you had Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss thrown together. You can't let this division go the same way.
I didn't see the match where Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah won the titles. They're the current champions. Yeah. But I've heard it was real bad.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. As tag titles, it was, it's not like with the Knockouts tag titles, they didn't plan to bring them back. We did plan, apparently, from what I gather, Sasha and Benny were just asking for them every week, and eventually Vince gave in and gave them to them. But with the Knockouts tag team division, they hinted at it for a while, it teased it, and then they finally went back at Hard to Kill. And Fire and Flavor were great champions, of course.
Yeah.
At least said about the celebration, but they did such a good job considering. Again, they put together a team, but they got the chemistry down quickly. They figured it out very quickly.
Definitely.
And then, but if you go back and look at the division before this one in TNA, they had more teams, but they didn't have the booking necessarily. You had Rosita and Sarita. You had, insert team here, the Beautiful People. You had Gail and Madison.
Yeah, Hamada and Awesome Kong.
Yeah, in Taylor Wilde and Sarita, they were the first champions, and they were great. Again, considering they were a put together team at a time. But it's just, I think it's to find that balance. Because like I said, there's not a lot of female teams out there. I mean, you can go with forget their names. My brain's gone to sleep. They were in the first tournament. The tournament crowned them. Delmi Exo and
they have like a C gimmick.
Yes, I can't remember what they're called.
I can't remember their names. I can picture the gimmick, but
and I think at the time they were the Shimmer Tag Team Champions as well. So apologies, but no, it needs a lot of work. But do you think there'll ever be a point where they realize that they're gonna have to just disband them again, retire this again?
Think Scott wants to do that. I think Scott, obviously the thought has crossed the booking team's mind, but it sets them ahead of every other wrestling company, apart from obviously all women companies. But if they can book strongly the women's tag team division, it does set them apart from WWE and AEW. So I don't think that they plan on getting rid of them. No,
and there is of course the option of bringing the NWA Women's Tag Team Champions, or even the former champions of Stella and Marty Bell. There's that, but because I believe they're also the Pro Wrestling Eve Women's Tag Team Champions as well. So of course there is that option, and Impact do have good working relationships, and AJ Lee bringing company back. I'm just so tired.
Is it WOW?
Yeah, well, yes, yeah. So I believe they had working relationship before they fully closed down. On the back, maybe that can happen again, and there's a feeder to those titles if needs be. But I hope they can figure this one out.
Yeah.
So looking at the divisions now, where do you think the World Tag Team Championships? Do you think they need some depth added to that?
I do think it needs a bit more depth. If we're losing the Good Brothers and we lost the Briscoes, realistically, we've lost VBD as well. Poor old Joe Doring has had to step away. Best wishes to him. Hope things work out for you.
Yeah.
So you've got OGK, Motor City Machine Guns. You've got Aussie Open coming in, which is fantastic.
Great stuff.
You've got Decay, I guess you got PCO and Vincent, kinda.
Yeah, that's as a possibility of that team for sure. Definitely a possibility.
Who am I missing? Who else is there?
I mean, I'm looking. The major players are still on the roster technically.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, you've got Heath and Rhino potentially in a few months' time.
Mm-hmm.
Given Rhino feels better.
I guess you could do Eric Young and Dina, but they've had the belt so many times.
Yeah, you've got my dream team of Swinger and Dice.
Do you really see them as tag team champions one day?
My heart says yes, my head says no. I mean, you've got Raj Singh and Shira.
Yeah,
so that's there. So there was some stuff there, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know how long this Mac and the Moose thing will last, but I can't imagine it's going to last very much longer. Maybe it's Bound for Glory, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, there's possibilities of forming teams, you know, of guys like Kid who could find a partner for him very easily. Trey Miguel would be a good partner for him.
I guess if you brought in Zachary Wentz, you could have the Rascals.
You got the Rascals there.
But yeah, it's all well and good having all these tag teams, but then you would need to build these teams up, because realistically, as the OGK are the champions, you've got Motor City Machine Guns and Aussie Open are legit contenders, and then I can't see any of the other teams being the champions right now.
That's the problem we find ourselves with. It's all about this upcoming match tonight with Aussie Open and Ace and Bay. You know, they're
a great team. I forgot to mention them.
Yeah, this could very easily be a number one contenders match for Bound for Glory, and I'll take either winner.
Yeah.
So there's that, and then of course, there's Machine Guns next in line. If it is Ace and Bay, I mean, but Aussie Open also face the Machine Guns. That's but probably next week now. But no, there's it's not as much trouble, if you like, as the Knockouts Tag Team division. But again, it has been one of Impact's weakest points for some time. So hopefully they can sort that out.
Yeah.
But apart from that, you know, because the rest are all singles, you have the depth for the Impact World Championship, the X Division Championship, even the DMC. There is plenty of options.
Yeah.
So I think it's the tag team divisions that need. If it was me, looking at this as from the Impact perspective, it's tag team divisions that need the most work, but aren't in massive trouble. It's just
I agree with that.
Could do with a bit more depth on it.
Yeah, I think in terms of legit contenders and people you could see as champions, the Knockouts division obviously, but the X Division Championship as well has a great list of legit contenders who you could see as champion.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Speedball Mike Bailey versus Masco Dorada.
Oh yeah,
that is going to be a great match.
Is that going down at Victory Road?
I don't know for certain, but I assume so. They haven't announced it it wasn't announced on the tapings matches when the Impact dropped them, so I'm guessing we'll get that Victory Road, along with of course Bye-Bye Massacre, which I think that's a good way to close off the road to Bound for Glory.
Yeah, that's been announced as the main event for Victory Road, Barbed Wire Massacre, and I think that'd be really cool. I still think we're going to get Moxley. He's no longer the world champion in AEW. He's got no direction in AEW. It would make sense right now for Moxley to take a little bit of time out from AEW. What else is he going to do? come and help his buddy Sammy Callahan.
Well, I read today via PW Insider that Frankie Kazarian is coming back to Impact to work a few more dates. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant! Because he hasn't done anything in AEW in months.
No. So according to PW Insider, Frankie Kazarian is making his way back to Impact for a few specials and a few tapings. So
I'll take it.
That's
bring
great
Christopher Daniels with him. We've got another tag team then. SCU.
I know. I'm excited for that one. So now we're going to take a look. We're going to take you back to 4 years to 2018. Seems so much simpler then. But Impact Wrestling made their return to the UK at MediaCon in Manchester. But it was Impact Wrestling versus the UK. Impact Stars versus Stars of the UK independent scene from WOS to NGW. And just many, many more. So, and then we're going to look at the card and discuss, look at it from perspective of now to see where these guys who were on the roster, where they are now, type thing. And then we're going to take a little try and fancy book from the current UK scene and the current Impact roster, book some dream matches if you like. So the card from the show, bear in mind, this is the very first wrestling show I ever attended live. So it's very, very cool for me. We opened up with a X Division triple threat, Rich Swann defeating Matt Sydal and Trevor Lee. That was followed by Adam Maxted and Robbie X defeating Jake McCluskey and Lucas Steele. Su Yung defeated Lana Austin. The Impact World Tag Team titles were defended as LAX Santana Ortiz defeated Jody Fleisch and Johnny Storm.
Wonder Kid.
Joe Hendry defeated Eli Drake. In the co-main event, we had Eddie Edwards and Justin Sizem defeating Moose and Nathan Cruz. The main event, we had Sammy Callahan defeating Jimmy Havoc in a barbed wire baseball bat death match. I mean, consider it was only 4 years ago, and I mean, if you look at the Impact side of stuff, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people from the Impact side of stuff still with the Impact. I mean, Trevor Lee, former $1 million champion, former NXT North American champion. Eli Drake got his own faction on the main roster. Matt Sydal just kind of there in AW from what I remember. But even when you look at, I wasn't too overly familiar with the guys from the independent scene over here, but WS, when it was that made it a bit easier, like Adam Maxted and Robbie X and Justin Sizem. And Robbie X, I didn't realize at the time, but obviously now it's clear by how many people we've spoken to on this pod and just who put it out on social media. Robbie X is so well respected in the UK scene, and I had no clue on that. It's crazy to look at this card now. I mean, and of course my now good friend Lana Austin, the destroyer of signs. She's onto something with this Queen of Mean gimmick. She's come such a long way from that.
She does it a bit too well.
Yeah. Yeah, I've put behind the curtain in our TNIW group. Posted a couple of tweets Lana sent me, and they've had to ask whether she was joking. I'm assuming she is, but it's still a fun. When you're at a live show and Lana Austin's in the ring having a match. It's if you like having back and forth with heels, I think Lana Austin is one of the very best that I've interacted with in terms of heels. And face Su Yung, who had just lost the Knockouts World Championship at the time, and Rich Swann, who went on to win the X Division Championship a few months later, Bound for Glory, a month later, Bound for Glory. And LAX, who won the Impact World Tag Team Champions at the time, had a banger of a match against Strowman and Flash. I mean, and I don't what more I can say on it. And after the show, even I actually got to meet Santana Ortiz, got a picture with him, spoke to him for 5 minutes. Very like when that happened, because I'm just such a massive LX guy, that made my year, and has probably made a couple more of my years as well, given how it's. But yeah, did you obviously aired on live on Twitch? Did you like catch this show, and were you like, aware of it?
I saw the show. Yeah, I didn't see it live, but I watched it maybe a week later, and it was a really good show. I liked the whole event, the whole wrestling media con event. I thought it was really cool. What I really enjoyed, I don't know if you saw it, when the Wrestle Talk guys, they lost a bet, so they had to dress up and do some sort of music video.
Yeah.
And then they paraded around the venue on segways with Jushin Thunder Liger cheering the merch table. That was hilarious.
I had just got into the building at that point, and I was just coming out the loo, and I saw them coming around the crowd. And I saw Jushin Liger just going,
he was marking out big time.
Yeah, it was.
And it was so funny for me to see this 50-year-old little Japanese man, with the full gear, the mask and everything, just proper going for it.
I'm loving every second of it. Yeah, that, like I said, that entire event was great. Obviously, I was in there for the final day for the Impact show, but I got to see Nick Aldis taking on Doug Williams just before the show started. I met Walter at the time, Gunther. There's so many people I got to say hi to who just was walking past, and I just had to. It's first wrestling event I had ever been to, and I got to meet these great guys. Like this incredible. Also at that event we had the Rev Pro British J Cup, which again a great event. Met it's so many years back. It's just if 4 years ago seems like longer than it actually was, because so much has happened. It's ridiculous to believe how much has happened in the space of 4 years. But no, all in all, a great show. But Moose and Nathan Cruz and Eddie and Justin Seisen. Moose had just turned heel. Literally the week before Moose had turned heel. And I remember Scott D'Amore saying after the show finished, and he was like doing, like, obviously they were still talking to the camera and stuff. Scott D'Amore was saying how it's cool that the people in the crowd clearly watched the product because they knew to boo Moose. And started the douche chant, which then of course really took on like a few weeks later. It was a very cool event, and it's been 4 years. Let's get another one. Especially after Clash at the Castle, it's gonna happen.
Absolutely. Clash at the Castle was such a cool event, purely for how hot the crowd were all night.
Yeah.
So it would be cool for
so good.
Impact to be able to come over and do some sort of event like that because you know the crowd are going to be there for it.
Yeah, the product is so good right now. Obviously, I know everyone is struggling financially, but I've said it before, but obviously they won't be able to run the same venues they have when they used to come over.
No.
But they can still run some decent sized venues. Now, I mean, one of my personal favorite venues is that it's kind of off the cuff, but Cheltenham Town Hall. That's a really good venue. It's got a nice stage. You can put a screen up there. It's big. The crowd, if the crowd loud, it fills the venue. You just need to be at full capacity. It can still fill the venue. And there's so many venues they could use. Fusion, where TNT run, then that's a good venue. I mean, maybe it wouldn't necessarily work too well for Impact.
It's quite a small venue. I know they pack it, but
yeah,
it's very, very cramped, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's not like we're short of venues in the UK for shows.
Southside used to run some great venues. Their venue in St Neots was tremendous, and it's only half an hour away from me, so I can highly recommend that one.
I mean, so even if they just come down for, I mean, they probably have to stay. If they wanted to run multiple venues, they have to probably stay about 3 weeks to run. If they want to run the same places they used to in terms of cities, like Glasgow, Manchester, Birmingham, it's easy done. There's so many places they can run, particularly in Birmingham. It is, and I think it's now more than ever. I think let's get it done.
Yeah. Anyway, let's fantasy book this show.
Yeah, let's take a look.
What would your Impact World Championship match be? Let's start from the top.
The World Championship. I think looking at the World Championship, I think who obviously Josh can have a great match of anyone, but looking at it of who could really fit in and have a killer match. There's so many people. I mean, DeReese springs to mind. I think he and Josh would have a great match. Charles Crowley.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
Yeah, Crowley even. There's so many more. How about you? Who could you see main event with Josh Alexander?
It's a tough one. Is Mark Haskins still on the scene?
Yeah, is that Wrestle Carnival this Saturday, teaming with Robbie X to take on DeReese and Leon Slater.
That'd be a good match. I think Haskins would be a great shout. There's so many good heavyweights on the scene. I don't want to dip into the pool of people released from NXT UK. I want to focus on people that have established themselves on the scene whilst NXT UK has been a thing. So maybe someone like Gene Money. I don't know how well his style and Josh's style would gel, because he's a big comedy guy and Josh is very, very serious. But I think that would be cool to see. I think Man Like DeReese, like you said, is a great shout. God. Who else is there?
There's a lot of depth in the UK scene, and so many. Just the talent is incredible.
I know he's not got a lot of experience, but he's really made a name for himself. What about Simon Miller?
Yeah, again, that is a great shout. Even the I think Josh and Spike Gervais could have a great match. But it could even make it a unification match. But no, there's a lot. So I think I'm going to stick with Doris. I think that will work well. So we'll make a note of these, and I think we'll let the viewers decide which card they would like to see. So I'm going to go with DeVries versus Josh. Who are you picking?
That is good. I'll go with Josh and Haskins.
Okay. So let's go because this is going to be fun. Let's go with the Knockouts World Championship. Who would you pick to face Jordynne Grace?
Well, I already know the women's tag team championship match. I think that's very obvious. Who would have the best match? Alex Windsor.
Yes, they had a killer match at Wrestle Carnival back last year.
I heard it was good. I didn't see it.
Yeah, I saw it available on Wrestle Carnival's YouTube. Like they smashed it.
I spoke to Alex Windsor before that match when I found out she was wrestling Jordynne Grace. I messaged her just to say how excited I was for her, and she was really excited about the match because she knows how good Jordynne Grace is. So yeah, I'll have to watch that. It's on their YouTube.
See, now I'm trying to go through the pool of female talent. It's like next level. Trying to go for the women's champions from different promotions. I think I'd quite like to see Jordynne Grace versus Lana Austin.
Yeah,
I think that would be the one for me. Because they would have such, just different in general. Obviously, Lana can play the heel very well, and Grace can play the strong babyface very well. So I'll be interested to see that dynamic. I mean, they probably had a match before after I go and check this out, but I have to do my research. No, I will actually learn Austin. So let's take it over to the World Tag Team Division. I immediately know my pick. If I hadn't have already picked Melanie DeReese for the Josh Alexander match, I'd probably go on the 0-1-2-1. But I think that's on such a great role. I would love to see the Kingdom, OGK, taking on the Sunshine Machine, Chuck Mambo and TK Cooper.
That's a great shout. Oh, okay. Purely because they're fresh in my mind, and I saw them a week ago. The team of Roy Johnson and Alexander Roth, the 87.
Nice.
I'll go with those guys.
I've got OGK versus Sunshine Machine. And your take?
I think your match is better than mine.
OGK versus Season. Yeah.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah. Because Sunshine Machine have been such a role. The Rev Pro and Progress Tag Team Champions. And face OGK, they would have such a killer match. This is a 87.
Chuck Mambo he had a cup of coffee in Impact Wrestling, didn't he? A few years ago.
Yeah.
When they were in Canada.
Yeah. In a 6-way scramble for an Extreme Championship number contender match.
Yeah.
Which I believe was won by, I think it was Jake Crist, who actually went on to win it. believe it was Jake Crist. So
he's changed things up recently, hasn't he? Jake Crist, he's got a new gimmick. He's got some momentum. Wouldn't mind see him make a comeback, honestly.
Yeah, he's doing. He's found something again, and I wouldn't be against him in Impact. So
it's a shame. It's a shame because obviously he was a tag team for so long with his brother, who is a fucking scumbag. It's a shame that Jake gets grouped in with him.
Yeah, it fucked him up because his brother was a moron. So stepping away from titles for a second, a feature match, a dream, no titles involved, a dream match. For me, because we haven't had it yet and we've been teasing it for, I felt like years, I'm going with Sami Callihan versus Simon Miller.
That's really cool, yeah. Because they were meant to wrestle, weren't they? In Tampa before the pandemic. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'll go totally the other direction. I'll go with Mangala Doris versus Steve Macklin.
Okay. I'm liking that one. Yeah, I'll definitely be up for that one. Snap. So we have 4 matches apiece. Should we go for 6?
Yes. Yeah. We need an X Division Championship match.
Yes. I've seen. I've been fortunate to see Speedball Matt Bailey. I saw him twice in one weekend. Was at Rev Pro and then at Kamikaze. At Rev Pro, it was supposed to be a singles match, but he had a triple threat. I'm not going to say one of the competitors because they'd never need to be mentioned in wrestling again. But the other one was Mark Haskins. And I want to see that match for the X Division Championship. Mike Bailey versus Mark Haskins.
Oh, okay. All right. I will go with Speedball Mike Bailey versus Ricky Knight Jr. for the X Division Championship.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I think that's the better matchup there. Oh, yeah, that has to happen.
And I'm sure it will happen in Rev Pro at some point.
Oh, it must do. And I wouldn't be mad if the X-Division title was on the line and people lost it. I wouldn't be mad.
Be chuffed.
Be such a good one. So we're down to our final matches now. Let's go for the Knockouts tag titles.
Yeah, but, I mean, there's only one answer here for me. Vexed versus the Royal Aces, Charlie Morgan and Jetta.
Yeah, that's a great team. See, now I know who I would go with, but I guess but I don't want it to be another Eric Young ODB situation. But I would really, really want to see Vexed taking on BDSM of Crowley and Clementine. That match really appeals to me for some reason. I think it should be a fun match. I think that'd
be really cool. But I don't think you put the titles on the line with that.
No.
It'd be a great match to put on. I'd be interested to see it, but I don't think you could do a championship match there.
No, it's sort of about a match that really appeals to me. I think it's because it would be fun, and there are a lot of fun matches on this card so far.
Yeah.
Vexed versus Royal Aces. we've pretty much included every wrestler we've interviewed on chats now, minus Lizzie Evo. Oh, that should have been. I should have gone Lizzie Evo instead of Austin.
You can change it. I don't mind.
I'm going with Lizzie Evo because I think, if you want to go to Lizzie Evo, will be a cracking match.
Let's just book all of our friends.
Yeah. So that's a good card, and I would pay whatever money to see that one. So we'll quickly recap. For the Impact World Championship, I've chosen Josh Alexander versus Malachi Reese. Nixon's chosen Josh Alexander versus Mark Haskins. For the Knockouts World Championship, I've gone with Jordynne Grace versus Lizzie Evo. Nixon's chosen Jordynne versus Alex Windsor. I've gone for the tag team titles, OGK versus Sunshine Machine. Nixon's chosen OGK versus the 8-7. For my feature match, I've chosen Sammy Callahan versus Sammy Miller. Nixon's chosen Malachi Reese versus Steve Macklin. For the X Division Championship, I have selected Speedball Matt Bailey versus Mark Haskins. Nixon has chosen what, if it happened, will be the match of the night on any card. Speedball Matt Bailey versus Mickey Knight Jr. And for for a match featuring the Knockout World Tag Team Championships, Vexed taking on BDSM of Mr. Charles Crowley and Clementine. And Nixon for the Knockouts World Tag Team Championship is chosen Vexed versus the Royal Aces of Charlie Morgan and Jetta. Those are some cards. And we'll get them posted social media, and you guys can decide which card you prefer, and we'll have a little competition. Why not? It's always fun. And now let's take a little walk on over to the final. I can't do it because my microphone sit down. 10, 10, 10. There we go. Okay, 10. There. There you go. And we're gonna have a little fun. Why not? And we're gonna go. We have the full alphabet A to Z, and we're gonna run through it, see if we can fill all the letters. Oh, sorry. I'm watching Hardcore Justice 2010, and Kahoney and Bully Ray are having a lightsaber fight, which is always fun. But anywho, back to the final 10. Yeah, A to Z, and we're gonna make it an Impact A to Z. So we're gonna go with either wrestler, stipulation, faction, as long as it's from TNA/Impact. Well, let's go. So I'll start with nice and easy. A.
Am I starting?
Yeah, you can go. You can go. A.
AJ Styles. I assume we're going the past 20 years of Impact and not current.
Yes, from TNA Impact. You can even go with the NWA TNA if you want.
The glory days.
So
AJ Styles, correct.
It's giving me B. It's got to be the it factor of professional wrestling, Bobby Roode.
I was thinking Bobby Roode or Bound for Glory. Yeah, but Bobby Roode is a great shout. C. Chris Harris.
Harris, great shout. D. Oh yes, D. Ray 3000.
Oh, brilliant.
Had to be done.
E. Eric Young.
Of course. F. Oh, the future, Frankie Kazarian.
Fantastic. Good. Cool. Kaylee's just said the Good Brothers. Jerry Halliwell.
Yeah. Must have missed that episode where Jerry Halliwell won the Knockouts Championship.
Yeah, Good Brothers for G. Thanks, babe.
These with H yet. I suppose I have to go. Yeah. Oh, Hulk Hogan. Why not?
You could say Hardcore Justice.
Of course, I'm friendly.
I
don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've got the weirdest name in my head. I don't think he ever wrestled for Impact. Impact.
Dear, dear.
I was gonna say Ikuto Hidaka, which is the most obscure name that just came into my head. I don't think he ever wrestled for TNA. Fucking Impact.
Dear. So that leaves me with Jay, and who could I possibly go with for Jay? Jeff Jarrett.
Conrad Thompson. Kay Vincent. Who are you saying for Kay?
Killer Croc.
He's a
Same minute.
Oh no, I can't say Killer Cross. He
Is it Cross? I thought it was Croc.
no, Killer Croc. I was fighting him on Batman yesterday. That's why you've got Killer Croc in your head. Killer Cross, I can't say him because his reign ended badly. Killer Kelly.
Kelly. That leaves me with Al. I'm probably being really, really dumb here. Al. I'm more likely missing something really, really simple here. Al. I don't know why I'm watching Hardcore Justice because no one looks at Al there.
That's a tough one.
Difficult one. I mean, if I can use British Boot Camp here, I've got one.
Rihanna Austin.
Yeah, I think that's the only one. That's right in front of my mind.
You know, we can come back to L. I'm sure there's got to be another. Okay, M. For some reason, the name that's coming to my head is Manny Lemons. Mick Foley. There you go. Former world champion.
N. I think I have to. Again, I'm more than likely being like this.
I've got a couple of British guys actually.
Nick Aldis, I suppose, was technically in Impact. Nick Aldis. Yeah, we'll go Nick Aldis.
It's got to be Orlando Jordan, isn't it?
If we're looking at Orlando Jordan, didn't have a bad start, and it's just the way over the top on his gimmick a little bit.
Let me take that one back and say Orlando, Florida, where Impact was based for however many years.
Yes. So that leaves me with P. P.
Haven't been Impact, darling.
Yeah. Pepper Parks.
Pepper Parks. Okay.
One night only.
Great in AEW.
I thought it was the cartoon pig.
Not Peppa Pig. A Queen. the Killer Queen, Madison Rain. I'm clutching at straws there. Are there any other cues?
I'm not sure if she was Queen when she came through TNA, but there is Queen Charmel.
Queen Charmel. No, I'll go with the Queen Bee, Madison Rain.
That's great. Ask me living with R. Randy Savage.
Randy Savage.
Ooh, yeah.
S. It's got to be Samoa Joe. If it's not, it's Scott Hall.
I'm glad you went with someone legit instead of the other guy. Yes, the guy we don't mention on here, unless Lucha wants to tag me in the postseason.
I would never do that to you, Craig.
No, it's fine. So yeah, brain is T. Ooh, T. Okay, now
I got an L. I got a brilliant L. Low key.
Okay, how can we let that one slip? Okay. T. Terrence and Terrell. Very obscure on that almost.
Taryn Terrell. So, I mean, I never thought much of her in WWE, but when she came into TNA, she had that amazing match with Gail Kim. I realized that actually she was probably being held back in WWE. I was really impressed.
Yeah, Tiffany in ECW, well, what they call ECW.
Yeah. You. The Ultimate Finesser, Chris Bay.
I would have gone Ultimate X.
Oh, that's a good one as well. Chris Bay doesn't get enough love. I'm going with Chris Bay. Stop eating the pin.
Okay, I thought I had one for B, but I realised it didn't go by that name. Plus, I don't want to mention him anyway. VKM. Budokan Mafia.
I thought you were going to go Velvet Sky. VKM, bloody hell. I was excited about VKM when it first started because it was a little bit cool, a little bit edgy, but it ended up being shit.
Yeah. I mean, still some very fun moments there.
Exactly, yeah. That was definitely another V, Vince Russo. It was definitely a Vince Russo call, wasn't it?
And we got Roxy Devo, so.
Yeah, I heard she was a bit of a bitch. From someone who worked with her. But, well, I don't know. I've never met her, but she might be lovely. But this person had a bad interaction with her.
Yeah, Rose spoke very highly of her.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's good to know. W. Wrestling. Willie Mack.
It's probably the easiest one. X Division.
Why do you do this to me? Can't say Young Bucks because they were Generation Me in TNA. Yeah. And I'm not going to say Yuya Uemura because he hasn't debuted yet.
No, I'm psyched for that one there.
Can't say Yokozuna. Help me out here, Craig, with a U. Oh, a Y.
Why? Why is a difficult one?
Yeah, you. Yeah. Kaylee, you got any Ys?
I may have one. I've got to do it. I'm not technically cheating when I do it. You have to do it on Google. Just to make, I'm pretty sure they were, but
Yeah. If you're listening to this on a podcast, I do apologise for the dead air. If
maybe not.
we've got nothing else, I'll have to say Young Bucks.
I mean, they did. I think they came back as the Young Bucks for one night only.
They debuted as the Young Bucks, and then it would change to Generation Me.
Yeah. So I think we'll find with that one.
Yeah,
Now
I'll go Young Bucks.
Now for Zed, I'm going to go with a very obscure one. Maybe only had 2 matches in TNA. I'm going with Zach Gowen.
Ah, okay. I thought you were going to go Zema Ryan.
Yeah, I thought I'd go more obscure.
DJZ.
I thought I'd try to go more obscure, do more obscure version. Because, yeah, I think he only had 2 matches. One was a scramble match, which Sharkboy ended up winning.
Yes,
During the time
Slammiversary 2005.
Yeah, during the same time, Sharkboy was in a legal battle for his name,
That's right.
which obviously he won. So there we have it. This has been a podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Of course, you can follow us here, there, everywhere: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, and wherever else you've podcast. As mentioned, you can go check out all the other episodes of TBN Chats, from Lizzie Evo to Ricky Knight Jr. to, I mean, the list goes on and on and on, to Charlie Morgan, to TK Cooper, to Len Davies, to Simon Hill, to...
Need to mention poor old Glenn Davies. If you follow him on social media, you know he's not been a well man. He's been very public about it, so I will go ahead and say he had his part of his leg amputated due to having a fall and the bone just being absolutely, crushed. So yeah, he's a poor old boy at the moment. So if you know Len, or if you're able to find him on social media, of course you can find him on social media. Shoot Len some love. I sent him a video message last week, and a lot of people have been reaching out to him, and he very much appreciates it. So if you've got time, show Len Davies some love, because he's a great man, wonderful human being, and Len, we hope you get better soon.
Sending every bit of positivity his way. But yeah, as mentioned, go check out everything we do. You know the score by now. Appreciate ya. And I've been at MIC. It's been Nixon. Continue to be Nixon. Until next time. Goodbye, my friends.